Okay, I am with Steven Silva, who is a tour coordinator for, is it EAA?
That's correct. It's the EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association, which is headquartered in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So the home of actually the world's biggest air show, AirVenture, the last week of July every year.
How many towns a year do you tend to stop by?
As many as 60 towns per year. Some towns are a one-day stop. Most of them are weekend stops like this one, so a 3-day tour stop.
Excellent. I'm going to step aside while I keep talking to you. We actually have your B-17 behind you.
That's correct. This B-17 was built by Lockheed Vega and delivered in 1945, so it did not see any wartime service.
That was going to be one of my questions. So this is not a B-17 that actually deployed any armaments.
It did not. It went basically straight to surplus at the end of the war and the closing days of the war.
Now, what did they do with surplus B-17s?
You know, they did a lot of things. This particular airplane was used for aerial mapping. It was used for spraying. Back it sprayed fire ants down in the south. My uncle, who lived down in Athens, Georgia, told me they didn't do a very good job because apparently there are still plenty of fire ants. And some of them were converted to cargo and even executive type aircraft. So a lot of uses, including even fire bombers.
Now, you mentioned 1945. Is there any approximation of the number of hours that this aircraft has on it?
You know, this has, I'm not sure what the total hours are. I think it's a little over 7,000 total hours. It went through a complete restoration, 10-year restoration in the late 80s, early 90s, so prior to us starting our living history air tour operation.
So this is one of the actual aircraft that you take fans of the B-17 up for tours in.
Absolutely. Fans of the B-17, veterans, their families of veterans. We carry 10 passengers with a crew of 3, pilot, co-pilot, and a crew chief. And we do air tour operations all around the country, and of course along with the ground tours. So we're able to share this airplane with an awful lot of people during the course of a year.
Now, are any of us actually able to get down to where the bombardier seats?
Well, during flight, when we're doing those air tours, we can only allow a couple of people at a time in the nose, but that's correct. Unlike an airliner where you're buying a seat on the airplane, you are buying a ride, so you have a seat with seat belts and everything for takeoff and landing. And once we're airborne, there's an opportunity to move throughout the aircraft, including on up into the nose to the bombardier's position.
For these flight tours, what is the maximum ceiling you usually hit?
Well, that's up to the pilots, but because part of the experience is to be able to see the scenery. You know, in wartime, we're operating them above 20,000 feet. During air tour operations, we're going to be below 5,000. So.
And can you tell us where the name Flying Fortress came from?
Well, the Flying Fortress came about as a result of all of the gun positions on the airplane. The thinking at the time was that all of the 50 caliber machine guns would allow each aircraft to provide for its own self-protection. And then that didn't work out quite the way they hoped, and that's why we ended up with the large bomber formations. One of the reasons we had the large bomber formations that we had flying over Europe in World War II, so they could provide for mutual defense.
Now, if you folks said to me, Kenny, you're nuts for going up in one of these. Look at what just happened down at BDL. I know, because I'm into aviation, that it's perfectly safe for me to go up into this aircraft. What would you say to my viewers to maybe calm them a little bit if they are a fanatic and they do want to go on one of these tours?
Well, I would say that, you know, each individual has to make their decision, but these aircraft are extremely well maintained by people who are well qualified, love the aircraft, and love the history message that we're able to put out with this aircraft, and they're maintained at the same level as any other commercial passenger carrying aircraft. So we take safety, we've had a very good safety record, and we take safety very seriously in the operation of our aircraft.
Okay, now down in BDL, that was a group called Collins. Now you are EAA. Can you actually tell me what EAA is or does?
Sure. EAA stands for the Experimental Aircraft Association, and it's an organization that's been around for a little over 50 years now, and it has just a lot of things. They support home-built aviation. They support antique aviation. They have a warbird division that supports the operators and maintainers of various warbird airplanes, all up to the current turboprop type military aircraft. They're involved in educational efforts with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to motivate young people to stay in school and pursue technical educations that are so much needed today. So EAA means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
And if somebody's looking for more information on EAA, where can they go?
Probably their best source of information would be to go to eaa.org, and they can find out information about all of the various divisions of the EAA, the youth educational programs of the EAA, and of course the big Air Venture air show at the end of July every year.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Cockpit, and I can't fit through there, so that's one area I won't be going to.
When the plane got here, they let me crawl up, and I'm like, oh, trying to squeeze through there. I'm like,
I cannot fit in there. No.
Assuming these are dummy bombs, right?
What's that?
I'm assuming these are.
Oh yeah.
Here I am aboard the B-17 Flying Fortress with the EAA flight team, if you want want to call, man? Do I want to call the flight teams? They preserve history.
Is this supposed to happen?
That's normal.
Actually?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, so we're going to be taking off runway 2. The winds are pretty much good out of the north right now, so we'll be headed right up north. And the flight crew said that we're probably going to be going down over Bradley, is what they plan on. So they're going to try to get under the Charlie airspace in Bradley, do some loops around there. I think is what they're going to do.